Hey Singapore, this is former Liverpool and Real Madrid winger Steve McManaman. You're locked onto SportsZone on 938 Live.
From 938 Live.
This is Formula One driver Fernando Alonso.
Hi Singapore, I'm Jürgen Klinsmann.
Hi, I'm Martin Tyler.
This is Annika Sorensen.
Hi Singapore, this is Johnny Wilson. You're locked on to the best in sport. Cheers.
You're listening to Singapore's longest running and only sports talk show on radio, 15 years and still going strong. A good Saturday to you and welcome to SportsZone on 938 Live. I'm Raj Kumar and today we turn the spotlight on local football. It's been more than 2 months since the 19th season of the S.League kicked off with 12 teams, and after the initial 7 weeks, defending champions Tampines Rovers are now second on the table. Last night, Brunei DPMM thrashed Harimau Muda B 5-0 over in Bandar Sri Begawan to go to the top of the table by 1 point. Tampines though still have a game in hand because they'll play Balestier Khalsa tomorrow. There are 5 other clubs which are within 5 to 6 points of the top 2 teams, so it's still, I guess, too early to tell if Tampines can still dominate again this season and go on to win their 4th straight league title, because we know they can be beaten, especially when Hougang United upset them 4-2 exactly 7 days ago. We've also seen the Stags and Home United compete in this season's AFC Cup, and after slow starts in their respective groups, both S.League clubs with only 1 group match remaining, they are both still in contention to reach the round of 16. Well, on today's show, we are going to bring you up to speed on everything about the S.League since it kicked off 2 months ago. And just before I announce the guests in the studio, there are a couple of other things that are happening today on this show. First off, if you're a fan of US Major League Baseball or the MLB franchise, and if you own a Sony PlayStation 3 console at home, here's your chance to take part in our phone-in contest, because later on this show, you can win the latest game by Sony Computer Entertainment. It's known as MLB 14 The Show. MLB 14 The Show. Go and Google it. I'm sure you'll find 101 reviews about the latest release on the MLB. And we have 2 copies to be given away. Each is worth around $70. In addition, I'd like you to know that towards the end of the show, we'll talk briefly about the draw for the UEFA Champions League semi-finals, which took place last night. It's Atletico Madrid versus Chelsea and Real Madrid versus Bayern Munich. We'll also try to get quick predictions on the FA Cup semi-finals happening at Wembley this weekend, and of course Liverpool versus Man City in the EPL Premier League tomorrow. We'll also spend a few minutes to talk about the WWE legend, the Ultimate Warrior, who died suddenly 4 days ago. And since his untimely death, thousands of tribute messages from the fans worldwide have been pouring in across all forms of social media. So we too will say goodbye to the Warrior, who was 54 when he died. In the meantime, it's back to local football, and fresh off from last night's live TV match at the Jalan Besar Stadium, it was Geylang International versus Hougang United. The final score was 3-2. And here with us after almost a 3-year absence is Jörg Steinbrunner, who is now the head coach of the Geylang Eagles. He is joined in the studio by his counterpart from Tanjung Pagar United in Patrick Valle. And from Balestier Khalsa, he's a senior official with the club and has vowed to fill up Toa Payoh Stadium for all of their home matches. It's none other than R. Vengadassalam, or the Venga Man. And completing the lineup today and making his SportsZone debut is the Warriors' Scottish midfielder Kevin James McCann. A good Saturday, everyone, and welcome to SportsZone on 938 Live. Jörg Steinbrunner, we'll start with you first. And after coaching with S.League clubs like Woodlands Wellington and Hougang United, you left for Indonesia 3 years ago, and you're back now again in the S.League. How was the experience like coaching over in the Indonesian league?
Well, I think it was a good experience on and off the field. Good experience from getting to know a different culture, getting to know different football, and I mean, we know all in Indonesia the stadium's full. You know, it's a good media support in Indonesia as well, and sometimes it's something you would like to see in the S-League as well.
Okay, you took over from V. Kandan, who was removed from his coaching position after 3 straight losses by the Geylang Eagles. What compelled you to take over at Geylang International?
I think it was what compelled me was the challenge to get the team back on track and coming back to Singapore and having a fresh start after I left 3 years ago, and after having some good talks with the management and looking at the situation, what can be done after the season. That was also something we looked forward, and then I made the decision to come back, and so far so good. So far so good, that's right. 3 wins and 1 draw in your 4 matches in charge. I'll bring in your dear friend and former general manager at Woodlands Wellington, the Venga Man, into this discussion and ask him, Wenger, were the Eagles fair in hiring York after 3 straight losses, or should Kandan have been given till the middle of the season and then evaluate? Because he did say that it was unfair of the club to remove him when several players were still carrying injuries
in the opening 3 matches. Wenger, did the Eagles do the right thing?
It's entirely up to their management, the Eagles management, because it's they have to live with the decision. So to remove a coach 3 games, a bit unfair. But Jog is also a friend. He's got a chance to come back to Singapore.
It's amazing. You know him 15 years, you still call him Jog. It's it's York time, brother.
Yeah, we call him Jog.
Oh, okay, affectionately. Okay, York, since you took over, Geylang beat the Koh Siang Lions. The Harimau Buddha B side, you drew with Brunei DPMM. So before talking about last night's match against Hougang, what did you do with the players for them to go from 3 losses to a 3-match unbeaten streak?
I think we didn't change much. We just came closer together. We worked on some defensive organization, because obviously in the first 3 games we didn't get any points. We conceded 9 goals, and I think we made it more competitive, made it more difficult to beat us. And then I know Wenger going to say something now. I can see him already. But also enjoyed training with each other more, and I think that's what you can see. The team morale is good in the moment, and we didn't change much.
All right then, last night's match at Jalan Besar, which was shown live on MediaCorp channel Octo, which is the official channel this season. What are your thoughts of the final score? 3-2, the Geylang Eagles scoring all 3 goals in the last 10 to 12 minutes of the match.
No, I have to be honest. I think 75 minutes we didn't play well. The performance was most probably the least best out of the 3 games so far. But the last 15 minutes, 20 minutes, we never gave up, and 2-0 is a result in football. If you get a chance and you get back the first goal, what we did, then you saw Hougang a little bit, getting a little bit down. We kept plucking away, and then the second goal came quite shortly after the first one, and then it was game on, and then we didn't sit back, and we went for trying to score the third goal, and it eventually came. But I think that we didn't play well last night. The positive was that we
especially
kept going.
when you had 1 man extra from the 30th minute onwards, when Hougang lost 1 guy due to a red card.
Yeah, we didn't make it to our advantage. We were too slow. The passing wasn't accurate enough. We didn't have a good movement, and it was in a certain way too easy for Hougang. I mean, they defended well. Credit to them as well for putting up a good game last night. But like I said, we never gave up, and we kept believing that we can come back, and that was a good sign.
Time to bring in Patrick Valle into this discussion. Patrick, of course, into his 2nd season as head coach of Tanjung Pagar United. 2 nights ago, the Jaguars played host to the Warriors at Queenstown Stadium. The final score was 1-1. Patrick, what are your thoughts of that draw?
Sorry, for me it was a good game from the both team with good spirit, good fighting, and we start well the game, and we lead after 14 minutes, I think. And after that, we miss 2-3 chances and to extend our advantage. And in second half, for me, Warriors was better, and Jose equalized 2 minutes before the end of the game. And it's disappointing for us because we lead the game. We try to keep this advantage, but we cannot until the end. But it's part of football. It's the game.
Patrick, after that match against the Warriors, your club is now in 10th position. Are you satisfied with your club's performance after 7 matches into the new season?
In terms of football, I'm very happy. This year, I'm sure I get a better team than last season. In terms of football, what we do on the field, how we play, I'm very happy. Same during the training. But of course, when you look at the result, you cannot be satisfied because we want to be in top 6. We try to work for that, but a lot of things in the club this year happen. We got a lot of injured player, and hopefully when our key injured player come back, our result will be better, I think. Let's
hope for more good news from the Jaguars. On the panel of guests today, it's not all about the coaches and club officials, as we have Warriors midfielder Kevin James McCann joining us. Kevin is a former Scottish under-21 international, and he has played most of his professional career in Scotland, 5 years with Hibernian, and this is his first season in the S.League. Kevin, what's your take on the result on Thursday night against the Jags?
I think Patrick summed up quite well there. It was pretty much a game of 2 halves without being too cliche. Tanjung Pagar, I thought, were were well the better side in the first half. I think we were quite slow starting, and with that goal, it kind of puts us on the back foot a bit, and we didn't really get to our flowing possession kind of game that we like to play, and then second half we kind of picked up a bit, and for me personally, I think we finished really strong. And if obviously the game's only 90 minutes long, but if the game maybe went another 10 minutes, I think we would have went on and won the game. Obviously, I think Patrick's got a good side there, and I felt that they were a tough team to play against. So we were quite pleased to come away with a point in the end.
Okay. On the whole, the Warriors are now in third place after 7 matches. They finished in the second half of the table last season. How do you account for the transformation of the team, which is now in the top 4 or top 5?
Well, personally, obviously, I wasn't playing with Warriors last season, so it'd be maybe unfair to comment on that. But I was here for 2 weeks last year, and what I have noticed this year is within our group this year we've got real togetherness, and I think that showed the other night. Obviously we were 1-0 down to Tanjong Pagar, but we kept on fighting, and there was a real belief there that we could get a goal back in the game, and it happened for us. And I think in a lot of the matches you can see that there's that togetherness, that fighting spirit, and I think that will stand us in good stead this season.
You're listening to SportsZone on 9-3 Live, and today we catch up on local football, and after more than 2 months of action in season 19 of the Great Eastern Yields S.League. And joining me in the studio discussion are Geylang International's head coach Jörg Steinbrunner. He's joined by his counterpart from Tanjong Pagar United in Patrick Valle. And making his SportsZone debut is the Warriors midfielder Kevin James McCann. And our final guest who's been waiting patiently to speak is R. Venkatasalam. He's a man who's returning to the S-League after a 7-year absence. They say you can't keep a good man down, and that's why the Venga man, who was the S-League's most controversial and flamboyant personality during his years with the Woodlands Rams and Tampines Rovers, is now back in a senior capacity with the Ballister Tigers. Venga, maybe you can tell us what exactly is your position at the club?
I'm assisting Mr. Tawa to
Tawa as in the club chairman.
And under his guidance, I'm trying to look at the junior teams and the Prime League, and trying to get more players up into the S-League. That's my primary goal. I think I'm enjoying that actually. So I'm working on the grassroots to get more crowd into the stadium. And basically what I've done in Woodlands and a bit of Tampines is what I'm trying to do in Balestier right now.
Speaking of the club, how have they been performing this season after 2 months of action?
We started off well, and then we got a lot of injuries, and with the help of the referees, we also down by a few players. So we are struggling a bit on the pitch with the numbers, but once the numbers are back, we should be there in the top 3 position.
I know that the Balestier Tigers have played 4 of their 6 matches this season at the Jalan Besar Stadium. That was 1 win, 2 draws and 1 defeat. That is only 5 points from a possible 12. Is the artificial turf to be fully blamed for having dropped several points?
I cannot comment on the S-League because I watch them play. They struggle to play when the pitch is dry. If the pitch is wet, they play much better there. So it depends on the ground and on what result we get.
Okay, let's turn the spotlight now on coaching, and staying with you, Venga. The former Jurong FC and Ballister Khalsa striker Marko Krelevich is now the head coach. He took over from Darren Stewart, who's gone off to Woodlands Wellington. What do you make of Marko as head coach of the Tigers?
He's a fantastic person. As a human being, I love to work with him, and I think he's doing very well as a coach. As I said, we have a bit of injuries at the moment, and we have players who are suspended, which has hampered him. And I think he will come good, and he will be a great asset to the club.
Kevin, a similar question to you. How has Alex Weber been able to turn the fortunes around for the Warriors this season?
I think obviously last season he kind of joined maybe midway through the season, so he's probably more judged this season where he's got his own players in tail, and obviously he's got his own system about things. Alex he's a very organised coach, and everything's very, very periodised with the way we train, and everything's very organised that way, so hopefully that's starting to show on the field for him.
Okay. Jörg Steinbrunner, there was news of Darren Stewart possibly leaving to go and coach for the Newcastle Jets in the A-League or the Australian League, but the 46-year-old reportedly decided to stay with the Woodlands Rams because he felt that he owed his commitment to the club. Woodlands Wellington is a club that is special to you because you won the League Cup, the inaugural League Cup with the Rams in 2007. Having said that, here is a chance to coach in the A-League, and that means disrupting your contract and leaving Singapore. What would you have done if you were in that situation? It's not every day that an offer from a more established league comes knocking. So, York, what would you have done?
Oh, I think first of all, you have to look at the situation, what Darren's long-term plans are. And I think knowing a little bit the A-League over the last 1 or 2 years when I followed, they have quite a big turnaround in coaches. And most probably he would have said to himself, I have a target, I have a plan here with Woodlands over the next 2-3 years.
Yeah.
And that's most probably something he puts more priority on it than going to the A-League. But I think he's a good coach, and maybe the chance comes again. Maybe it was the wrong time, to take this offer. Maybe next time it's a better time, and then he will take the offer because it would be a step up into the A-League. But I think he has his priorities in the moment in Woodlands. He sees a longer future there with his future plans, and that's why he made the decision.
Wengerman, let's clarify some details. A player in the S-League cannot leave a club till the transfer window opens. Does that apply to coaches as well?
No, it doesn't apply to coaches.
Okay.
Coaches depend on, you lose 3 games, you lose a job like Kannan. And then now he comes in, he wins 4 games, he stays. He loses the next 6 games, Kannan will come back as a S-League coach.
We're talking about York. If York loses
That's
6 games, Kannan will come back from Prime League back to...
Yeah.
Then I go to Balestier.
Oh, then you go to Balestier.
Balestier, we are very stable, so...
Wenger, any club you are in is not stable, you know that.
It's very stable.
To those of you who are listening, you should have been here before the show started. It was a half-an-hour talk show in itself. It's probably can only be aired after 11 o'clock at night. Just before we reach the news headlines, Patrick, let's touch on a foreign coach who's been featuring the S-League for the first season, Steve Keane, coach of Brunei DPMM. I assume you know him from his time in the EPL. Brunei are riding high right now, leading the table with 5 wins, 1 draw and 1 loss. That loss was actually at home to Tampines when they lost 2-1. What are your thoughts of Steve Keane so far?
Steve Keane get a good background in UK, and he's a coach with high-level experience, and he's bringing that into Brunei this year, and I think it's for that they realize an excellent start of the league. And when you watch Brunei playing this year, for me, they play with very good discipline, and they are well organized, better than last year. And it's for that, for me, it's a strongest team in S-League this year. But I'm not sure they win the title. The titles.
Yeah. Kevin, a few seconds on Steve Keane. What do you think? Your counterpart from the UK?
Yeah, I think it's obviously good for the S-League having someone so high profile as Steve. And obviously a fellow Scot as well. I spoke to him when we were over there, and he's got Brunei playing attractive football, and they're obviously scoring a lot of goals. So I think he's doing a great job over there, and he's obviously it's good to have another team kind of fighting it out there. It's good to have 2 or 3 or 4 good strong sides and going for the title.
Well put, Kevin McCann of the Warriors FC. That's all the time we have for you on part 1 of Sports Zone. Coming up after the news, we'll go in depth with the clubs from Balestier, Tanjung Pagar, Geylang International and the Warriors. We'll also touch on Home United, Tampines and the Young Lions, who are second from bottom this season. And we'll also be doing that prize giveaway of 2 copies for the PS3 console, and that's in relation to the release of the new game MLB 14 The Show. So stick around for more fun and games on Sports Zone right here on 938 Live.
Bonjour Singapore, this is former France and Chelsea midfield Marcel Desailly, and you are listening to the guys on 938 Live Sport.
Welcome back to Sports Zone on 938 Live. I'm your host Raj Kumar, and today we catch up on local football, and with more than 2 months of action in season 19 of the Great Eastern Youth S-League already done and dusted. Joining me in the studio today are Geylang International's head coach York Steinbrunner. He's joined by Tanjung Pagar United head coach Patrick Valle. Also with us is a former Scottish Under-21 international in the form of Warriors midfielder Kevin James McCann. And our final guest is R. Venkatasalam, also known as Wengerman, and he's back in a senior capacity City with the Ballister Tigers. And in the first part of the show, we brought everyone up to speed on the 4 clubs which our studio guests hail from. We also did talk about some of the other coaches like Woodlands Wellington's Darren Stewart and Brunei DPMM's Steve Keane. And just before we continue any further, it's time to give away the 2 copies of the new baseball game for the PlayStation 3 console known as MLB 14 The Show. It's just been released for the PS3 console at $70 for the package version. And if you download it straight from the net, it's $63. For the package version for the PS Vita is at $55 and $50 if you download it. So they've already released it for the PS3 and for the PS Vita as well. The game creators from Sony Computer Entertainment will also be launching this game for the PS4 console in the second weekend of May. Alright then, we have 2 copies to be given away on our phone-in contest, and if you won prizes on the last 4 weeks on this very show, you cannot take part today. So if you won prizes on SportsZone from March 15th onwards, you cannot take part today. On that note, the rest of you, if you're a baseball fan, you should know the answer to this simple question. Yankee Stadium is the home of which MLB team? Yankee Stadium is the home of which MLB team? Call now at 66-911-938. That's 66-911-938 if you know the team that is using Yankee Stadium as the home ground. A big hint would be the team from the Big Apple. If that isn't a big enough hint, I don't know what is. So call now 66-911-938 if you want to win a copy of MLB 14 The Show. Meanwhile, let's resume with the S.League discussion. And Jörg Steinbrenner, the Geylang international coach, tell us about the performance of your club's foreign signings and how they've delivered so far.
Well, I think over the last 1 month, everyone put in a good work ethic. I think the boys working hard in training and then preparing them well for the games, and so far everyone has put in a good performance. There's still room left for further development, and in the coming weeks I'm sure the boys will play and get even better. Bit by bit they are picking up on the language. The 2 Japanese boys and the 3 Argentinians, they are still very new here in Singapore, and I think that will also help to boost their performance, the communication level, once they get used to speaking more English.
How are our former Singapore Lions like Alif Shafin and Ridwan Mohammed doing at the moment?
I think Ridwan over the last 3 weeks has really stepped up again.
And he's the team captain.
He's the team captain. I mean, you can also see from the time from Indonesia his experience. I think it was good for him to play overseas, bring that experience back. And what he still has is his tremendous speed. I mean, especially against Harimau and DPMM, when he went up down the flanks, he looked like he's 18 years old. You know, the time when he was playing in the Young Lions. So he still has what it takes to play another few years on this level, you know. And Alif bit by bit gets in there. He's not fully fit, so that's why he hasn't started the game for 90 minutes. But over the last few games when he came on, he had always a good impact. He scored a goal against Harimau Muda 1 week ago, and you know, when you get Alif, you know something's going to happen. He's skillful, he's trickery, he's quick. So yeah.
Okay. Just before we continue with this discussion, here are the 2 winners for our phone-in contest. We asked you which Major League Baseball team is based at the Yankee Stadium. If you're a fan of the franchise, you would know that it's the New York Yankees. Alright, so congratulations to our 2 winners, Lee Tai Hong and Benjamin Ng. You've won for yourself a PS3 copy of the new game that's been released by Sony Computer Entertainment. It's of course known as MLB 14 The Show. Go and check out the website for all the graphics, and you can actually see what this game is all about. Thank you very much to our friends from Sony Computer Entertainment for the prizes. Coming back to the show, the Wenger man, the Tigers have a marquee player in Goran Lubojevic. Has he truly delivered in the first 2 months of the campaign?
The record speaks for itself. He's been scoring goals every game, even though the result didn't go our way, but he's been scoring. So he's a fantastic signing.
Okay. Are there any local players that we should take note of?
No, local players still need to. I'm just hoping for some of my Prime League boys to move up. So I don't want to say much about the current squad.
Okay. But I'm sure you can say something about your team captain, Paul Cunningham. He seems to have a pretty strong influence in the field, and he's even gone up to score.
He should be represented. He's captain. He's really the Captain Marvel, the kind of. He really goes in 100%. Nothing less than 100%. Training. He's injured at the moment, but he gives 110% on the pitch. He's like a lion on the pitch. He really roars the team on. Love that kind of player. And I love to have 5 more players like that on the pitch.
Speaking of another lion and another stalwart, Kevin McCann, you probably can talk about the ever-reliable Daniel Bennett, the former Singapore defender. He's in the heart of the Warriors' defence. A quick word on
for me, I think Daniel's been different class this season. I haven't been fortunate enough to see the Singapore national team play, but if they've got better centre-halves out there than Daniel playing just now, they're doing well, I think. Obviously the international coaches maybe went for a bit more younger players, but Daniel's experience is shown every week, and he's been really good for us this season. Okay,
what about Miroslav Pejic, your club's top goal scorer with 7 goals in 7 matches?
Yeah, Peja's been world class since he's come in. He's obviously, you can see his goals. He's cutting in on it left foot. He's got a great strike on him. He's really strong, direct, very skillful as well. So I think it's been a great start to his season in the S-League, and long may it continue.
Your goalkeeper Hassan Sani is presently the 2nd best custodian in the country, and for the club he's only conceded 6 goals in 7 outings. What's your take on Hassan Sani?
I think Hassan is the biggest worker at the club. He's in every day doing extra. He really works his socks off, and that's starting to show on the pitch for him. He's really reliable then in the nets for us, and he's great to have about the place.
Okay, Patrick Bailey, let's get your thoughts on Moncef Zerka. So far 3 goals in 7 matches. Are you happy with the performance of this marquee signing this season? He had a great season in 2013.
Yes, I'm very happy about Moncef, because second season is always more difficult than first season for marquee player, for a lot of players also. And for me, marquee player is not only a number of goals scored, is also to give a good image for Tanjung Pagar United and S.League also. Is very important for this player and this style of player. And Moncef has an excellent attitude on and off the pitch. For me, example, all the defensive effort he made during the game is very good. He helps the team. He works for the team. He doesn't work for himself. Yeah. And he's very good teammate. For last when we started the season, one player cannot pass the 2.4 test, and Moncef no need to pass the 2.4 test, and he helped this player. He went with him to run the 2.4 test to help him to pass the test. He's very good teammate.
Wow, that's telling of Moncef Zerka. And what's your assessment of the former national striker Mazrizwan Masturi up in attack?
Maz helped us to win in Ali Mahmouda the first game, and against Warriors he delivered 1 assist, and he's a key player in the squad this year. It's for that I recruit him, and because he's a very good player, he's an important player, and he can play several positions in the field.
And Hafiz Osman, formerly from SCFFC, he's your team captain. Why did you choose this defender as your team captain?
Hafiz is in Tanjung Pagar United since a few years, 2012, and he was a captain last season. Yeah. Even he was injured, he was a captain outside the field. And for me, he's a local player. In my team, I want to choose only local player. Captain is better for the S-League. And the foreign player need to be focused on their performance. Yes. And the local player are here to help the league, and for me it's better to get one local player captain.
Okay, Bengaman, let's touch briefly on some of the other clubs. Home United are still within the top 5 clubs, and they just beat New Radiant FC from the Maldives 2-0 in the AFC Cup. Chuli was one of the scorers. Are you happy to see Chuli back in scoring form, especially since he left Balestier?
I mean, Chuli is a good striker. That's why we had him in Balestier before. I'm happy to see him scoring goals for Home United. And Home is a very disciplined team with their coach, with the Korean coach. He's very disciplined. I watched them on training many times. I'm quite surprised they're not in the top 2 right now. So hopefully they can realize their potential as they go along.
Have we seen the true potential of Home United this season as yet? Because they do have a pretty long list of injured players.
Yeah. Just as I said, I'm quite surprised they are not in the top 2 now.
Okay.
So I hope to see them there with us, not with others.
Patrick, Albrecht's Niigata are also in mid-table at the moment. Have you been impressed with their performances so far?
Albrecht is still a good team. Their style is different this year than last season, and it takes time to perform very well. But at the end, I'm sure they will go and move up on the table.
The Courts Young Lions are still winless after 6 matches. It's beginning to look like 2013 all over again. I guess it must be frustrating for the coaches like ID Iskandar and S. Supramani. Would you agree?
Oh, I think it's frustrating for the whole setup, not only for the coaches. I think it's frustrating for the players, for the whole setup who is working under the Young Lions. I think in the end of the day, you need to now look what is your target, development of the players, or you want to move up the table. But I think in the end of the day, we are a professional league, and that's where you need to set a target and say results are important, and you need to get sooner or later results, because if you're not going to get results, the boys going to get frustrated, and it's not going to be going good for anyone.
Wengerman, you want to add in?
Yeah, I think it's strange that you let the young boys slog it out every week and they get beaten every week. They should have at least brought in 5 foreigners, just like the S.League clubs, senior players, to help these 6 other boys develop to a better player.
But if you bring in foreign players, then they will dominate.
No, not necessarily. That 5 or 6 who are going to play together with these 5 foreign players will actually improve far better than every week get beaten up, go back home with a black plastic bag over their head. So I feel you should.
A black plastic bag over their head.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Week in and week out, they lose. It's very demoralizing.
But this is the actual team that's probably going to represent Singapore in the SEA Games next year.
I think we should see further away from the national team.
Okay.
We've got a bunch of boys who week in and week out, and they may not be able to adapt to it and adapt to this defeats. And I have a couple of young line boys in my team, and I know they have this inferior complexity where they've been losing many times. They don't have the winning mentality. So why not help with 5, 6, professionals, help them, and then 6 or 7 will develop into very good players, and they can rotate, and you have a better team, and they can give actually Geylang an easy win. They can beat Geylang easily.
For the last 45 minutes he was nice. Now he's trying to get nasty. I think you have to continue another 10 minutes.
Kevin McCann, are the champions Tampines Rovers, in your opinion, ripe for the taking, especially since we know that they are not invincible?
I think you've obviously got to respect Tampines as the champions, but I don't think they're to be feared. So I think they've already shown. There's obviously Hougang beat them there recently. Obviously they're playing in the AFC Cup, so there's opportunities there to be taken, and hopefully other few teams can take points off them. Alright,
one last question before we head to the traffic news. York, a quick word if you can on your former club, Hougang United, which is now under the tutelage of Amin Nasir.
I think Amin has done a great job since last year when he came in. I think he took over the last 10 games, and then obviously had some ideas how he's wanna set out the team. In the new season, he kept some players from last year, brought some foreigners in, kept 1 or 2 foreigners from last year, and I think he's doing a great job.
Okay, that is our look back on the first 2 months of the S.League. Coming up after the traffic update, we'll chat briefly on the lineup of the UEFA Champions League semi-finals, the Premier League match with Liverpool and Man City, and of course the FA Cup semi-finals taking place this weekend. We'll also preview some of the S.League matches that's coming up next week. You'll also hear the few words. We'll also have the final words from the WWE legend himself, the Ultimate Warrior, who died a few days ago. You'll hear his final speech or address to the WWE fans when he appeared on Monday Night Raw just 5 days ago. But time now for Traffic Watch.
Hi Singapore, this is WWE superstar Santino Marella, and you're listening to the station with the most sporting action, 938 Live.
Speak to me, warrior! what I was going to say this evening. It's been hard for me to find the words. No WWE talent becomes a legend on their own. Every man's heart one day beats its final beat. His lungs breathe their final breath. And if what that man did in his life makes the blood pulse through the body of others, it makes them believe deeper in something than larger than life, then his essence, his spirit will be immortalized by the storytellers, by the loyalty, by the memory of those who honor him and make the running the man did live forever. You are the legend makers of Ultimate Warrior. In the back, I see many potential legends, some of them with warrior spirits, and you will do the same for them. You will decide if they lived with a passion and intensity, so much so that you will tell your stories and you will make them legends as well. I am Ultimate Warrior. You are the Ultimate Warrior fans. And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever.
And there was, of course, the Ultimate Warrior's final address on Monday Night Raw, when and then he died the day after. And with us on the phone right now is hello, Jason Quek. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Jason. And of course, you've just returned from WrestleMania 30. You were one of 75,000 at the Superdome in New Orleans. Last year, you had the chance to meet the Ultimate Warrior at a fans convention. How did you feel when you met the Ultimate Warrior for arguably the first and the final time? Jason?
Your line's not clear.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you better now.
Okay, so you're already live on 938 Live. How did you feel when you met the Ultimate Warrior a year ago in person?
Oh, it was a dream come true. It was a childhood dream that came true, and it was a very pleasant and good experience to have met the Ultimate Warrior in person.
Okay, and just 7 days ago, you saw him at WrestleMania 30 as well, with 75 other thousand fans. How did you feel, when you saw him at WrestleMania?
I felt very happy for him, as he honestly deserved to have entered the Hall of Fame much earlier on. But due to some problems in management, he didn't went into the Hall of Fame as earlier as expected.
Okay, and when you were returning back to Singapore, you obviously heard of his untimely passing on Wednesday mornings, Singapore time. What went through your mind when you heard? And
I thought it was a prank. Because there were rumors of his passing many times over the years. So I thought it was just another prank. But then somehow I decided to go and check online to see whether is it true or not. And when I found out it was true, it was really shocking. And I'm still kind of like upset about it until now. I still feel very sad about it.
Okay, and just before you go, what is your best memory of the Ultimate Warrior?
His ring entrance, his ring entrance music, his ring entrance, and of course the match against Macho Man at WrestleMania 7.
Okay, Jason Quek, thank you very much for joining us. Welcome back to Singapore. I'm sure you had a tremendous time at WrestleMania 30.
Yes, indeed, I had a tremendous time over there. Okay. And if financial constraints, I wish to go there every year.
We all do. Thank you very much, Jason, for speaking to us on SportsZone. Cheers, bye.
All right, cheers, bye.
Bye. Vengaman, very quickly, your thoughts on the Ultimate Warrior, because you're a big wrestling fan yourself.
I'm very saddened by the news. Again, I've been watching wrestling for many years now, probably from WrestleMania 1. So I'm shocked, and I can't believe what has happened. He was on Monday Night
Monday Night Raw.
And it was very inspiring speech, and he was very true in every word he said. The fans are the people who make legends, and I believe what he actually said. So I'm very saddened by his finish.
Well, we've lost the Ultimate Warrior, but his legacy, of course, lives on in all our hearts and minds. Of course, our prayers go towards our Warrior who has left behind his wife Dana and the 2 young daughters. Okay, let's turn now to back to football very quickly. The UEFA Champions League semi-finals, the draw was held last night, and Real Madrid will play Bayern Munich, the defending champions. York, what do you think of Real Madrid versus Bayern?
Oh, it's a great matchup. But I think looking at the first game going to be played at Bernabeu Stadium, and then the second leg in the Allianz Arena, I think Bayern Munich will fancy their chances. Looking at the quarterfinal game where Dortmund almost made it in the second game, and I think if they're going to get a decent result in Bernabeu, they're going to turn it around in the Allianz Arena.
Patrick Valley, so you think Bayern can go through?
Yeah.
Okay. Spoken like a true German. Patrick Valley, Atletico versus Chelsea. Who do you think is going to go through to the final?
I think it's very tough game because Chelsea with Mourinho is very strong team this year, and they beat Paris Saint-Germain in the last game. But for me, Atletico Madrid will be
going through.
Yes, because this year, I think this is Atletico Madrid's year.
That's right, Diego Simeone. Turning to the Premier League, the English Premier League, Liverpool versus Man City. Wengerman, what do you think of tomorrow's big clash at Anfield?
I'm going to pick Liverpool to win, and comfortably. They've been on a roll. They've been fantastic. Brendan Rodgers is a fantastic coach.
Yeah,
he's turned things around there, and I think the Liverpool fans deserve a title. It's been 24 years. I'm going to pick Liverpool to win.
Very quickly, the FA Cup semi-finals, Wigan versus Arsenal. Kevin McCann, that's taking place tonight.
I think personally Arsenal won it football-wise, but from my heart I hope Wigan win, because one of my ex-teammates, James MacArthur, plays with Wigan. So good luck to Wigan, and I hope they do it.
Okay. Hull City versus Sheffield United tomorrow.
I'm also going to go for another upset there, because I've got another friend that plays with Sheffield United, and it's Stefan Skugel.
Okay.
So I hope they can cause an upset there, and I'm going to go for Sheffield United.
Turning to the S-League very quickly, Wengerman, Balestier versus the champions, Tampines tomorrow at Clementi Stadium. Your thoughts on that game?
It looks like we will settle for a draw if we can, because we are missing some players at the moment.
Okay, and then your club takes on York Steinbrenner and the Geylang Eagles on Thursday.
That's an easy one, right?
That's an easy one
for Geylang.
A few words on that match.
Against Balestier, I would say they can send the points already over to Beto.
Or they can send the Prime League squad.
They can send whatever they want to send. It's not going to happen.
Okay, Kevin, Patrick, Kevin, Albrechts versus Warriors next Wednesday.
Yeah, we've got Albrechts next Wednesday. Hopefully we're going to go out there and try and win the match. Obviously it'll be a tough match. Albrechts are a good side, but we'll be going out there to try and get all 3 points. And
it's Home United versus Tanjung Pagar at the Bishan Stadium next Wednesday. Patrick Valley, your thoughts?
My thought is very headache because 3 injured players and 2 suspended, but it's good time to bounce back in the table.
All right. On that note, thank you very much to our studio guests in York Steinbrenner, Patrick Valley, Kevin McCann, R. Venkatasalam for joining us on this special edition of SportsZone, the S-League 2 months. And do go down to the stadiums and support our very own Great Eastern Youth S-League. Till the next time, I'm the RAJMAN. This has been SportsZone on 938 Live.